Deep in the frozen heart of Siberia, where temperatures plunge far below human endurance, something impossible has awakened. A Russian expedition drilling into the ancient permafrost stumbled upon a colossal shape, sealed in ice for tens of thousands of years. At first, they thought it was another mammoth, another fossilized echo of the Ice Age. But then, they saw the eyes, perfectly preserved, still visible beneath the frost. What kind of creature could survive untouched for so long? Why did the Russian government immediately seal off the area? And why have several members of the research team refused to speak since that day? Some say it's the greatest scientific discovery of the century. Others believe it's something we were never meant to find. When the ice began to crack, it wasn't just the ground that trembled, it was history itself. The Yakutia excavation, the day the ice split open. It began like any other research mission. In the vast frozen tundra of Yakutia, one of the coldest and most remote regions on Earth, a Russian geological team was drilling into layers of permafrost to study ancient soil composition. The project, funded by the Russian Academy of Sciences, aimed to better understand how global warming was affecting Siberia's frozen ground. But at a depth of nearly 30 meters, their drills struck something solid, something that wasn't rock or ice. At first, we thought it was a boulder, said Dr. Leonid Petrov, one of the senior researchers. But the sound! It was hollow, metallic, almost alive. When workers cleared the area, they noticed a shape beneath the translucent blue ice, an outline larger than any known animal native to the region. The team halted the operation and set up floodlights. Through the frozen wall, a massive ribcage appeared, followed by thick sinewed limbs curled in on themselves as if frozen mid-motion. Within hours, the site was swarming with scientists and journalists. Locals from nearby villages gathered, speaking in whispers about the beast of the White Land. Russian news outlets released brief footage before the video vanished from their platforms. What had they uncovered? A creature from the Ice Age or something far older than human memory? A colossus unearthed, the size and the shape no one expected. When the excavation team finally broke through the last layer of frozen soil, what they saw left even the most experienced scientists speechless. Beneath the ice lay a massive form, longer than a bus, wider than a whale, its flesh still intact, glistening under the artificial light. The skin, thick and pale gray, appeared almost leathery, yet it shimmered with a faint metallic hue. "It's like nothing we've ever seen," one of the researchers whispered on the live feed before the footage was abruptly cut. Preliminary laser scans showed the body measured over 10 meters in length, with limbs suggesting both land and aquatic adaptation. A biological paradox. The head structure, partially visible, displayed bone ridges, unlike any mammalian species known to science. Russian paleontologists initially believed it could be an undiscovered species of prehistoric megafauna, possibly an evolved offshoot of the mammoth or a massive amphibious predator from the Pleistocene epoch. Yet others noticed unsettling details. The symmetry of its ribcage, the unusual alignment of its vertebrae, and a faint spiral pattern etched into the bone itself. "These markings don't occur in nature," said Dr. Sokolov from Moscow State University. "It's as if someone or something designed this creature." Within days, the excavation site was surrounded by armed guards, and all access to independent researchers was revoked. The discovery that began as a geological survey had turned into a state-level secret. Was this an ancient relic of evolution, or evidence of something deliberately hidden beneath the Siberian ice? Russia's Frozen Vault, a history of impossible discoveries. For decades, Siberia's permafrost has been a vault of prehistoric wonders and nightmares. This isn't the first time Russian scientists have unearthed something that defied belief. In 2012, the world watched as the perfectly preserved remains of a woolly mammoth named Yuka were pulled from the ice, complete with muscle tissue and strands of hair still intact. In 2018, an Ice Age foal, believed to be 40,000 years old, was discovered with liquid blood still inside its veins. 2 years later, the frozen bodies of cave-lion cubs emerged, their fur golden, their eyes hauntingly open. Each discovery pushed science closer to resurrecting the past, but none of them compared to the sheer magnitude of what Yakutia had now revealed. The newly found creature dwarfed all previous specimens, both in size and in mystery. The local press dubbed it the Siberian Titan, while international scientists demanded transparency. Yet, almost overnight, reports vanished from state channels, and the videos that had circulated online were quietly taken down. Some believed the government was simply protecting an extraordinary paleontological find. Others feared the truth was far stranger. Every time we dig into the ice, one Russian geologist said anonymously, we find something that shouldn't exist. If this colossal being wasn't part of the known fossil record, then what else could still be sleeping beneath the endless white? The first tests, a creature that refused to decay. The specimen was transferred under military escort to a secured research facility near Novosibirsk, where a joint team of biologists and cryologists began their analysis. Initial tests stunned everyone involved. Despite being encased in ice for tens of thousands of years, the tissue samples were astonishingly well preserved, soft, elastic, and showing traces of protein activity. Under controlled thawing conditions, the skin began to release a faint reddish fluid, resembling partially degraded blood. It shouldn't be possible, said Dr. Irina Volkova, head of the Cryogenic Research Division. Organic matter that old should turn to dust. Not pulse, with chemical life. Microscopic scans revealed something even stranger. Clusters of intact cells exhibiting minor electrical activity when stimulated. A biological echo, as if the creature's body had not completely surrendered to time. Genetic sequencing began immediately, but the results only deepened the mystery. The DNA shared no direct correlation with any known species on Earth, not with mammals, reptiles, nor marine life. It was as if the code itself came from an evolutionary branch that had never been documented. When fragments of the report leaked online, speculation erupted. Some called it a new megafauna species. Others whispered it was a biological anomaly. Or worse, evidence of life forms that predated human evolution entirely. What terrified researchers most was not what the creature was, but the possibility that others like it were still buried, waiting for the thaw. Anatomy of the unknown. Patterns that shouldn't exist. As dissection began under sterile conditions, scientists realized they were facing a biological puzzle that mocked every rule of evolution. The creature's skeletal frame was both dense and flexible, as though built to withstand immense pressure, suggesting it once lived deep underwater. Yet the lung cavity was enormous, adapted for breathing air. Its muscles contained a fibrous compound unknown to modern anatomy, allowing it to retain elasticity even after millennia in ice. But the strangest feature lay within the bone structure itself. Faint spiral engravings, symmetrical and deliberate, running along the ribs and spine. No natural process can carve patterns like these, said Dr. Pavel Sidorov, forensic biologist at Tomsk University. When scanned under ultraviolet light, the markings emitted a dull glow, a bioluminescent residue that persisted for hours. Some scientists suggested the creature might have possessed its own light-producing organ, similar to deep-sea organisms. Others quietly admitted the symbols resembled geometric designs found in ancient Siberian petroglyphs, carvings made by humans who supposedly lived tens of thousands of years after the creature's time. How could a species that predates human civilization carry markings similar to human art? Asked one researcher during a leaked conference call. The question hung in the air like frost, unanswered, unsettling, and far too dangerous to pursue publicly. By then, the laboratory's external communication lines were cut. Only government-approved statements would leave the facility from that moment on. Silence and control. When science meets the state. Within days of the discovery's announcement, the tone of communication from Russian authorities changed abruptly. The Ministry of Natural Resources released a short, vague statement calling the find an unusual paleontological specimen under examination. But behind the scenes, the site in Yakutia was declared a restricted military zone. Armed guards replaced researchers, and local witnesses reported hearing heavy machinery operating through the night. Journalists attempting to enter the area were detained and forced to delete their footage. Even members of the original research team were placed under non-disclosure agreements, effectively silencing them. One day, we were studying a specimen, a scientist later confided anonymously. The next day, it was as if it had never existed. International partners who had been promised data access suddenly received nothing but diplomatic delays. Western media began speculating that the discovery had been reclassified under national security protocols, similar to past incidents involving biological anomalies found in Arctic regions. Some insiders claimed the government feared the potential biohazards released by thawing ancient organisms. Others believed it was something more, a discovery too profound or too destabilizing for public release. Yet, despite the official blackout, fragments of information kept slipping through encrypted academic channels. Genetic irregularities, unusual isotopic readings, and energy emissions too consistent to be dismissed as error. If the state was truly trying to bury the truth, it was already too late. The world had seen enough to know something extraordinary had been found beneath the Siberian ice, and Russia was keeping it secret for a reason. Traces beyond time, dating the impossible. When independent geologists were finally able to review limited soil samples taken before the lockdown, their findings raised more questions than answers. Carbon dating placed the surrounding sediment at roughly 50,000 years old, consistent with other Ice Age fossils. But deeper isotopic analysis told a different story. Certain mineral layers encasing the creature were far older, dating back over 200,000 years, to a period when the region was still part of an ancient sea. It's as if the specimen had been entombed twice, said Dr. Marina Orlova, an expert in paleogeology, once by the ocean, and once again by the ice. Even more perplexing, trace elements found in the creature's tissue didn't match the chemical profile of Siberian soil or water. Some matched samples from the Arctic seabed nearly 2,000 kilometers away. This suggested the being might have migrated or been moved before freezing in its final resting place. Satellite scans of the Yakutia permafrost revealed multiple magnetic anomalies stretching across the tundra, aligned in a pattern that seemed unnatural. Were they remnants of ancient geological shifts or signs of more hidden structures beneath the ice? Scientists began to question whether the so-called creature was part of a much larger ecosystem or an artifact of something humanity had yet to comprehend. If the dating was accurate, then this being had existed long before humans ever walked those lands. And if it didn't come from there, where did it come from? The vanishing evidence. When the record disappears. Weeks after the discovery, the story that once dominated Russian headlines began to quietly fade. News outlets that had published the initial reports deleted their archives without explanation. The Siberian Times removed its article entirely, citing data verification issues. Even international agencies like Reuters and RT stopped covering the case, as if the event had never occurred. Then, a digital forensics group traced back the disappearance of online content and found coordinated takedown patterns across multiple platforms. The same hour, the same metadata signature. That kind of synchronization doesn't happen by accident, said cyber investigator Nikita Belov. Meanwhile, the research lab in Novosibirsk stopped releasing any updates. Aerial footage from independent drones showed that new concrete structures had been built around the facility, and armed patrols were seen along the perimeter. What was once a scientific discovery had turned into a classified installation. Rumors emerged of a small group of scientists being transferred out of the country under unknown circumstances. Leaked emails hinted at internal conflicts. Some researchers wanted transparency. Others feared the implications of what they'd found. A single image, reportedly smuggled out before the blackout, showed the creature's skull partially thawed, its jawline unnervingly humanoid, its teeth arranged in a pattern unlike any animal known to exist. It's not that the data vanished, one anonymous source claimed. It's that the world wasn't ready to see what it revealed. And just like that, the Siberian giant was erased from public record, as if the ice had swallowed its secret once again. When the ice melts, the past awakens. As global temperatures continue to rise, the Siberian permafrost, once thought to be an eternal barrier, is melting faster than ever before. Across Russia's northern frontier, strange discoveries are surfacing almost monthly. Frozen viruses revived after 40,000 years. Extinct animals appearing as if they had just died yesterday. And now, rumors of structures hidden deep within the thawing earth. Scientists warn that the melting permafrost could unleash ancient pathogens or destabilize ecosystems. But some believe the real danger lies in what humanity will uncover next. If one colossal creature has already emerged, how many more lie buried beneath the miles of ice? Could these relics of the distant past rewrite the history of life on Earth, or prove that another form of intelligence once walked here long before us? The Russian government has issued no further statements, and the site in Yakutia remains sealed under permanent surveillance. Yet locals still whisper about lights flickering beneath the snow at night, and the sound of low vibrations echoing through the frozen valleys. Perhaps the creature was never fully dead. Perhaps it was only waiting. As the world warms and the ice retreats, the line between history and myth begins to blur. Somewhere in the endless white silence of Siberia, the Earth is remembering, and not all memories should be awakened. Perhaps what lies under the Siberian ice is not just a creature, but a reminder that our planet keeps its own archives, far older and more truthful than any history we've written. Every layer of frozen Earth hides a memory. Every thaw reveals a secret once sealed by time. Scientists will keep digging, governments will keep hiding, and the ice will keep whispering to those who dare to listen. Maybe one day, when the last glacier melts, we will finally see everything the Earth has been protecting from us. The forgotten species, the lost civilizations, the stories that were never meant to be known. Until then, we can only ask, what else sleeps beneath the ice, waiting for the warmth of our curiosity to wake it? The answer, like the creature itself, remains frozen, just out of reach.